I would like to talk about how script analysis is like music. Do you sometimes get stuck with approaching script analysis? In this video, I will explain how thinking of it like music can not only be helpful, but also inspiring. Whether it's a pianist opening a score or an actor cracking open a script, both are stepping into a world that already exists. The script and the score are alive and breathing. Both actor and musician are trained to feel, digest, and interpret the words or the notes that are written on the page and bring them to life. At first glance, acting and music might seem like distant cousins, but beneath the surface, script analysis for actors and music interpretation share a deeply intertwined process. Both are acts of deep translation, turning symbols on a page into something human and alive. Let's explore more about this comparison. Number one, the script is the score. An experienced musician doesn't simply see notes on the page. They feel a journey, possibilities, and emotions encoded in a system of notations and symbols. In a similar way, a seasoned actor doesn't just see dialogue and stage directions. They feel objectives, subtext, relationships, and emotional stakes. A script, for an actor, just like a musical score, does not paint the full picture of the final performance. It serves as a blueprint. Dialogue equals melody, stage directions equals dynamics and articulation, beats equals phrasing, and pauses equals rests. You'll notice that in some dramatic texts, particularly plays, some playwrights will indicate a pause not as a pause, but instead they'll indicate it as a beat or sometimes even a rest, like playwright Susan Laurie Parks. When actors analyze a script, they're essentially exploring how to read the music of the scene in relationship to human behavior. The words tell you what is said, but they don't tell you fully why or how. That is where the art of interpretation begins. Number two, beats and phrasing. In music, phrasing determines how a melody breathes. Notes aren't just played in isolation, they're grouped into musical ideas. In a similar way, actors break the material down into beats, which in acting terms are units of emotional and psychological energy. A beat change in acting is similar to a musical phrase resolving or transitioning. If an actor neglects exploring beats, the performance might feel one note, just like a musician who decides to play every note the same exact way, with the same volume and the same intensity. On the other hand, when beats are explored, something much more interesting and dynamic emerges. There's movement, there's tension, and there's release. Actors often ask the following questions. Where does this thought shift? Or how does this tension build? Or what motivates this emotional turn? Musicians ask themselves very similar questions. Where does this phrase peak? Where does it resolve? What drives the transition? Number three, rhythm and timing. Every script has rhythm, even if it's not immediately obvious. Music can inspire you to feel the rhythm that might be present in a particular piece of material. Some scenes move in a similar way to jazz, unpredictable, syncopated, alive, and free. Others might feel like a classical adagio, slow, deliberate, heavy with meaning. Comedy, for example, often relies on precise timing, almost like percussion. Actors feel this rhythm. Overlapping dialogue, for example, creates energy and organized chaos. Long pauses build tension. Quick exchanges create urgency. This is no different than tempo in music. Too rushed, and the meaning collapses. Too hesitant, and the audience might disconnect. Many seasoned, stage-trained actors develop a highly sensitive internal metronome. Two great Modern examples are Nathan Lane and Audra McDonald, both of them known and celebrated for their versatility. Both possess a keen musicality and at the same time bring extraordinary humanity and vulnerability to their characters. Number 4, dynamics, volume, intensity, and contrast. A piece of music would be unbearable if every note were played at the same volume. The same is true in acting. Script analysis helps actors map their character's emotional journey. Where does the scene build? Where does it soften? Where does it erupt? A whispered line can carry more emotional weight than a shouted line. Just like in musical terminology, a pianissimo passage can feel more powerful than a fortissimo climax when placed strategically. Actors must learn in their training to avoid playing everything at 10. Instead, they learn to shape the emotional arc more like a violinist shapes a crescendo. Number 5, subtext, the harmony beneath the melody. In music, harmony adds depth beneath the melody. It creates tension, color, and emotional complexity. In acting, subtext plays this role. What a character says is not often what they mean. The real truth lives underneath. I'm fine might really mean I'm devastated. Leave me alone might really mean please don't go. A strong script analysis process uncovers these hidden layers. Without subtext, a performance is like having a melody without harmony. Technically precise and correct on the surface, but devoid of emotional depth and complexity. Number 6, repetition and motifs. Musicians recognize recurring themes, motifs that appear and reappear and evolve. Actors can find the same type of thing in scripts. Repeated phrases, behavioral patterns, emotional triggers. A line repeated again later on in the play, in Act 3, for example, might carry a different meaning or a different weight than it did in Act 1. Just like a musical theme returning later on in the piece in a minor key, it signals a transformation. As an actor, tracking these types of patterns, like a musician, can give your performance cohesion and depth. Number 7, interpretation versus precision. Both actors and musicians walk a tightrope between obligation and freedom. Too rigid, and the performance feels mechanical. Too loose, you might lose structure. A musician doesn't arbitrarily rewrite their notes, but they shape the timing, the tone, and the expression. In a similar way, an actor can't rewrite the script, but they bring individuality to their delivery, pacing, and emotional life. The real artistry lies in how you bring your soul to the material. Number 8, listening, the shared foundation. Perhaps one of the most important connections between actor and musician is the art of listening. Musicians listen to each other, to the resonance, to silence. Acting is no different. True script analysis for the actor prepares you not just to speak, but to respond, to hear the shifts in tone, to react in real time, and to live and breathe in the present. A great scene should feel like chamber music. The individual parts in sync, playing off one another, not like a solo performance. Number 9, practice and rehearsal. No musician performs a piece without rehearsal. They break it down, measure by measure, phrase by phrase, practicing solo before getting together with their fellow musicians. Actors do the same thing, beat by beat, moment by moment, and they do solo homework before rehearsing with their fellow actors. Healthy repetition builds freedom. When the structure is fleshed out and then internalized, freedom and spontaneity follow. In conclusion, in both music and acting, the goal is the same: to breathe life into these incredible blueprints. Script analysis for the actor, like studying the score for the musician, is not about intellectualizing. It's about what you can feel in the text. It gives actors the tools to move beyond just guessing into a real deep understanding of the material. And as a result, finding their way to an intentional, layered performance. So the next time you open a script and you're trying to figure out how to begin your script analysis, before you grab onto any techniques or worry about your terminology, start with this comparison and see if you can approach it like a piece of music. See what happens. Feel for the rhythm, discover the phrasing, respect the dynamics, honor the silence, and then bring your soul into it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more videos like this one. Click on the description below for links to our website and to learn more about the new Collective Acting Studio and our private coaching membership. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.